my evaluation on Unit 6. So as you can see, I got a list of questions here that I'll be answering today. Let's just get straight into it. My research process. If I would have to reflect on the research I did for my crime drama, I feel like this impacted my crime drama a lot. Like, it impacted it heavily because the research I did for my crime drama, for example, I made sure to include multiple different shots from different films. I looked at how to start and open a film, which I feel like was very, it was very impactful. It was very impactful for my crime drama. I looked at films like The Joker, Dark Knight, Batman the Dark Knight, and it was very. For one example I did do was, it starts off with the hero. So in the film James Bond, you can see it starts off with the hero, an action scene, and it slowly progresses into the crime drama that you see. How similar was your crime drama research to the crime dramas you watched? I don't think it was that similar, if I'm being honest. I don't think it was like a copy and paste of other crime dramas that I watched. We could have definitely took a different approach to the crime drama. Most crime dramas start off with something like a bang, something that intrigues the audience. But for my crime drama, it's a kind of slow start, like a hill, like slow and steady start. And at the start, it just shows two detectives trying to figure out a murder. Like I said in the first question, I made sure to add, you see the main characters, the main actors in the film at the start with the coffee talking, like in the James Bond film that I watched, and in many other shows, films. It starts off with the hero, and then you slowly get to try and figure out what is actually happening here. How did your primary research impact on your production? How effective was this? I think it was pretty effective. For my primary research, I went out into the college to conduct and get information from students, what they like to watch, what they like to see in a film, like in a crime drama. And most of it, they did say they liked thrilling action, they liked cliffhangers, and I feel like that was very useful information for me, because I figured out what I needed to do for my crime drama. So I made sure to add them. I made sure to add it in my crime drama. Obviously, it was very thrilling towards the end, and it ended in a cliffhanger. We didn't actually get to realize or know who the villain or the murderer was. So this is now my pre-production. Discuss the pre-production documents you made for the crime drama. How does it impact on your final production? What would you do? I've done differently. What are these documents as effective as they could have been? They were good. They were I done the location and risk assessments. It's always important to have a risk assessment, just in case something bad happens while shooting your film. I picked a location just near the college, and it was a foresty area, which set the genre, set the mood of the crime drama. And it's literally just 5 minutes, it's not even 5 minutes away. I made sure to pick a location that is near. If we have to go back into the college for some reason, we can quickly get there, and it's easily accessible. And because it was on a hill, and it was, when we were recording, it was quite damp and rainy, we had to make sure and be careful of the mud, and there was a lot of mud. It was near a horse paddock, so we had to make sure to not step in any things that we do not want to step in, and we had to make sure we didn't trespass onto farmers' land, because obviously that would not be ideal. What happened during your production, and what problems did you face? How did you solve these problems, and what went well and what didn't go so well? Well, as said before, what didn't go so well was the weather. When recording, it was very rainy, very damp. It was not very... The recording conditions, yes, it did fit the drama show, but it wasn't very suitable. It wasn't very good for the actors to act in. But what did went well was the actors, they got through it, and they didn't let that affect them. So I feel like we didn't let the weather affect us. We went in there and we done our job. Post-production. Discuss the editing process in detail. How did you sequence your cold opening? Did it meet the requirements of the project brief? Discuss the editing process in detail. With the editing process, I made sure I wanted to add a lot of cuts, a lot of different shots. I wanted it to start off slow and slowly get more and more action pace. So I made sure to do that. When editing, obviously the color of the show was pretty dull. I didn't really want it to be like that, so I added some color to the drama. So I added some color to the drama. I made sure to make it more vibrant, make it more easy to look at. So that's another thing I did. When doing it, I wanted to add eerie music, because I wanted it to fit the show really. So I feel like that was probably the best way to do that, and I feel like it worked pretty well. It fit the show well, and the music made it more tense, because I feel like without the music it would be quite lackluster. How did you sequence your cold opening? Did it meet the requirements of the project brief? Well, I feel like it did meet the requirements of the project brief. It didn't go in full detail of the brief, but we followed a similar format of the brief. It was a cold opening. It was two detectives. You see two detectives slowly walking into the scene. You get introduced to the detectives straight away, and it's not straight in your face. It's a nice cold. It's a nice cold way, really. So I feel like that's perfect. Discuss the editing techniques you used in the crime drama and justify why you used them. How effective were the techniques? I used a lot of L cuts, a lot of I feel like that in certain scenes where the detective went home and was in the office and was on call with the other detective out there getting clues. I feel like that you used it very well, because you could see the worry on the other detective's face when he found the other clue, or the other detective was on the phone call. I feel like if I didn't do that, and it just, every time they spoke, it just showed the scene, I feel like it would be very boring, and it wouldn't show the fear on the other detective's face of what he just found. You could see him worrying, panicking while the other detective is on the call, and I feel like that's very nice and a very good technique to use. I love using L cut techniques. I feel like it makes it more professional. For the title and graphics, I didn't really use as much graphics as I wanted to, if I'm being honest. If I had another chance to do this, I would definitely use more graphics. Same with the titles. I didn't really use as much titles. The only title I did use was obviously the opening, City of Wolves. Um, it was not the best. I wish I used different fonts really while doing it, because the font I used wasn't as professional. I don't think you would see it in a top professional mainstream show. But it does the job, and I can't really complain about it. So yeah. Final summary. Did you meet the requirements of the brief? What have you learned from the process? Discuss your progress from Unit 1 to Unit 6. What will you do in the future? I feel like we did meet the requirements of the brief. We made sure we read the brief over and over again, and we made sure to follow the brief as close as possible. What I have learned from this process is it takes time to create a good piece of film. You can't rush film, and you have to have a steady plan on what you want this film to be. So that's literally probably the most important thing I've learned from this process, and that's why I feel like it did go okay, but it could have went better in my opinion. I feel like it was kind of rushed, and I didn't have as much creative freedom as I wanted to, and I don't think that's anyone's fault. I think that's my fault, because I wasn't as involved in this crime drama as the previous crime drama of The File Snatcher, and I feel like, yeah, that's no one's fault but mine. And my progress from that's my progress from Unit 1 and 6. I feel like I have got a better understanding of creating a film, creating a drama. Obviously, when in Unit 1, I didn't know anything. I only knew certain editing techniques, but I didn't know any shots. I didn't know close-ups. I didn't know zooming out. I didn't know all of that. I didn't know what the real effect of it was in crime, in not even crime drama, but in film in general. And now Unit 6, sorry, I feel like I now have a better understanding of that, and I understand why you need to use certain shots and what they do for the audience watching the film. In the future, I feel like if I get another chance to create another film, like I said, I want to get more involved. I want to use my creative side and really to get the audience attention, try and actually understand what these shots do for the audience, how they feel about these shots, and how it makes them feel. But I feel like, yeah, it's just a lot of, you have to be patient. You have to be patient, and you have to have a lot of patience. I just said that 3 times. You have to be patient. I want to get more involved in the acting side as well of the film. So when watching this now, you can see the opening. The 2 detectives walk in. You can see the kind of shots we've used. You can see the background. This is a nice zooming out shot, and it transitions now. You can see the transition here. I used that transition to make sure to really get an understanding of what position here into them trying to look for clues. Nice close-up there of the hand, and then as you can see here, it's the editing technique of the 2 detectives realizing what that sound was. Like, they didn't, obviously, it's a shock, so it's good to get the both reactions of the detectives there. And then it shows it now, just the other detective walking, and then you got 2 shots of them in the middle talking and back. And you can see the color of it as well. I don't know how good it shows off here on the screen, but you can see the leaves are very orange. The color, I made sure to bring the color out because before you're filming this, it was very dull. You couldn't really see these oranges, and these greens, and these blues, and you can see it's pretty dark around him. You can see him walking off now. It's a far shot, and then this shot. This is a very nice motion. As you can see, it's a motion what's it called? As you can see, this is a motion lock. You can see it moving. This camera's very steady, facing him. You can't facing him walking, and so far you can't see his face. So you can see we try to focus on not showing his face in the scene because we really want to enhance the fear on his face when he finds the object. As you can see, look, he's very worried, very fearful of what he just found. I think he knew he just found a murder. He just found a big clue. And you can see he's calling him now. And this is where I'm talking about the L cuts. You can see him on the phone now to him. If I had to do something better about this scene, I would clean this up a little bit. It's a bit messy and unprofessional. I don't think an office would look like this. This does look like a classroom. It doesn't look like an office. So that's one thing I would definitely improve, because there's a lot of mess here. There's a random chair, another random chair. As you can clearly see here, it's not even a phone call, it's an alarm. Anyone could realize that and realize it's fake, and obviously that's not what we want. But yeah, as you can see, he's on the phone here now with using good L cuts, good cuts here, short cuts, quick cuts. This is a very good shot here of him actually finding the dead person. As you can see, it pans. The way it pans, and then as soon as he sees it, as soon as we see it, so the audience sees it and he sees it at the same time. I feel like that's it makes the audience feel like they are part of what they just saw. They're part of this film as well with us. And we also used a massive, obviously, sound effect. It's a good close-up here of him taking out a gun. This is a good edit of the motion blur to really make it feel like it's just him now looking at this dead body. And that was a far shot of the actual killer. And then that's how it ends. We actually don't really get to see who the killer is. You can kind of try and make out who he is, but we wanted it to end on a cliffhanger. But yeah, that's my Unit 6. That's my Unit 6. That's my Unit 6 film crime drama that we've done for the past month or two. And I really enjoyed making it. Thank you, and bye.